This is a good. The next email is good. I like this next email.
This is from Keegan is my first name, and the title is Lance Storm was a to Disco. Hey, Konnan and Disco. I heard an episode where Disco and Lance Storm were debating strong style. The whole conversation was basically Lance threatening and belittling Disco. My question is, who the is Lance to say anything to anybody? That dude had the charisma of a sock. I'm sure he's a great wrestling teacher as far as moves and taking care of your opponent, but why is it that the wrestling trainers were never great stars? How can someone with the personality of a plank of wood teach someone how to be a star? When I look back and remember the 90s wrestling, Lance has to be the most forgettable character. The only thing I remember about him was his gimpy, lame chair shot. Yet, I remember Disco and Konnan just fine. Thank you guys for keeping it 100. Very few do.
First of all, Lance is a very quirky guy, and everybody will tell you he's very obsessive compulsive disorder and just weird. But he didn't have a lot of charisma. But we turned that into a character that actually became a star because we used the thing where Lance didn't have charisma and turned it into part of his character. Or can I be serious? Like he was just like a straightforward Canadian guy, but he came across as a star the way he was on TV. He got promo time. He looked good. He was in great shape. I don't see him not. He always to me looked with WCW when we were doing that gimmick with him. He always came across to me as looked like we presented him as a star. Yeah. So I don't think he was. I think that's
there was a problem there because you brought him in, and I don't think that you need to be a star to teach other people how to be a star. I mean I mean, sometimes you have bad luck. You have a booker that doesn't like you, a booker that doesn't know how to use you, a booker who miscast you. So there's a lot of things. So I know a lot of stars that don't know shit about the business. But anyways, the thing is that I thought when Lance came into WCW, and I think you weren't creative when this happened, Disco, you guys did a really good job of that, him being serious, and you really got him over. And then, bro, he got destroyed by Nash. I don't know if Nash was also the booker, but I remember that you had put all this heat on him, and he might have even had like a championship at the time, and Nash just came out, power bombed him in the middle of a promo and just finished his push, bro.
Dude, I think he had the US title.
Honestly, that didn't finish his push,
bro. Did not
but
help.
It didn't help. But they looked back.
It went
but
down.
Here was the problem, and this is always the problem at WCW: is we pushed Lance very far, nearly as far as he could go.
Right.
Then it came time for him to start wrestling with the top guys. They weren't going to put him over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's just the way you go. But you don't get a guy over, a mid-card guy over, right? And then just let a guy from on top in the middle of a promo just come and power bomb him and leave because you're also booking him to now fail. You know what I'm saying? That was a dumb move, whoever it was. And so there's no way you can convince me that was the right thing to do.
No, I never said it was right, but my point was it wasn't as devastating to his push as well because he was getting to the point where his push was going to the upper part.
That's not how
he was going to plateau.
That's not how
you don't got to tell me that. I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm just telling you the inevitable. What was in the future coming up?
But but that's not the way to do.
Yeah.
And then in the middle of his push too, he had the US belt, the hardcore, the cruiserweight. He had them all, and then he went to face Booker T for the world title, and he lost.
Yeah, and Drew.
Right.
Yeah.
He lost. Bro, I remember you guys were doing I really thought you guys were doing a good job with him. And I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. They're doing a good job. This is how you can build a baby face. And Nash went out there in the middle of a promo that had nothing to do with him, I believe. And boom.
There was a storyline that we're doing Nash on the show.
He just interrupted things.
The focal point of Nash was on the show, and that's one of the things that he did. He was like pissed. He was like, he was like navigating his way through the show, and that was one of the spots he did. I think, if I remember correctly.
Well,
because I knew the thing was like, hey, Nash is going to go out there and we're going to squat. Nash is doing a deal. Hey, my soul is right. Absolutely help Nash's push on that show, and it did nothing for Lance Storm.
Right.
Okay.
We've talked about impactful debuts, and Konnan, you've said a lot that if Matt Hardy would have been able to debut in front of a crowd in AEW, it would have been just a lot better for him. Now, I don't remember what
1,000%.
I don't remember what city it took place in DI, but I think it was the Northeast. When Lance Storm debuted, one thing that helped him right away was he came out and did a big drop kick, and the crowd knew who he was, and nuts. Like a huge reaction for Lance Storm, But I think it was dependent on the city. But that debut really started him off So,